The house sat at the far end of Ashwood Lane, where the trees leaned too close and whispered when the wind moved through them. No one visited. No one stayed long enough to try. Except Elias. I watched him from the upstairs window the first day he arrived, his shoes sinking slightly into the soft earth, as if the ground itself was reluctant to hold him. He looked up once directly at me, though I had not made a sound. I smiled before I could stop myself. "Don't," my sister Clara said from behind me. "They always look when you want them to." "I didn't do anything," I replied, though I knew she wouldn't believe me. Clara never believed anything that suggested I might not be the strange one. Elias came with a letter. They always did. Something about the house, its history, its silence. Called to people who thought themselves immune to stories. He said he was a writer. He said he wanted to understand. "They always want to understand," Clara murmured as she stirred the tea. "They never want to listen." But Elias listened. He stayed for dinner that night, though we hadn't invited him. The door had simply been open when he knocked, and he walked in as if the house had already accepted him. "You've been here a long time," he said to me, his voice soft, curious. "All my life," I answered. "And longer," Clara added, setting his cup down with a sound too sharp for the quiet room. He smiled at that, but not unkindly. "It feels like that kind of place." It was easier to breathe when he was near. The walls didn't seem so close, the shadows not so eager. I found myself watching the way his hands moved, the way his eyes lingered on things others ignored. Cracks in the ceiling, the locked cabinet, the empty chair at the head of the table. "Who sits there?" he asked. "No one," Clara said quickly. "Everyone," I whispered at the same time. He looked at me then, and I felt something shift, something warm and dangerous. That night, I couldn't sleep. The house creaked in its familiar language, but there was something new beneath it, a pulse like a second heartbeat. I found Elias in the hallway, standing outside the locked cabinet. "You shouldn't be here," I said. "Neither should you," he replied gently. "But here we are." He reached for the handle. "Don't open it," I said, stepping closer. "It won't like that." He hesitated. "What won't?" "The house," I said, "or what's inside. It's hard to tell the difference." He studied me, not with fear, but with something deeper. "You're afraid for me." "Yes." "Why?" Because I had already begun to love him, I thought. Because the house had noticed. Instead, I said, "Because you'll leave." He shook his head. "I don't think I can." That was when the walls sighed. A long, low sound like relief. Clara appeared at the end of the hall, her face pale. "It's too soon," she whispered. "You let it happen too soon." "I didn't do anything," I said again, but the words felt thin. Elias reached for my hand. His skin was warm, steady, human. "Tell me what this place is," he said. "It's hungry," Clara said, "and it likes her best." "That's not true," I snapped. "It is," she insisted. "It always has been. That's why they never leave." Elias looked between us. "Who?" I swallowed. "The others." The empty chair, the locked cabinet, the silence that wasn't empty at all. "They stay," Clara said softly. "In pieces, in echoes. The house shifted again, closer this time. The air thickened, pressing in. Elias tightened his grip on my hand. "I'm not afraid." "You should be," Clara said. But I wasn't sure anymore. Because when the shadows gathered at the edges of the hall, when the cabinet door trembled as if something inside was listening, I felt it too. That pull, that promise. Stay. Elias stepped closer to me, his voice low. "If I stay, will you?" "I can't leave," I said. "That's not what I asked." The house waited. Clara backed away. "Don't choose," she whispered. "It will take that as permission." But I had already chosen. "I'll stay," I said, my voice barely a breath. The cabinet door opened. Not with a crash, not with force, but slowly, as if it had been waiting for the right answer. Inside there was no darkness, only a depth that seemed to stretch endlessly, filled with faint shapes, half-formed, watching. Elias didn't let go of my hand. "Then I will too," he said. The house exhaled, satisfied. Clara turned away, her shoulders shaking. "It will keep you," she said. "It will keep you both." I stepped closer to the open cabinet, to the quiet that hummed like a living thing. Elias smiled at me, not afraid, not even when the shadows reached for us. "Together?" he asked. "Together," I said. And when we stepped forward, the house closed around us gently, like a promise it had been waiting a very long time to keep. The first time I saw him, he was sitting alone on the far end of the bar, untouched by the noise. People in Hollow Creek noticed everything. New shoes, old grudges, who smiled too much and who didn't smile at all. But no one noticed him, except me. "You staring again, Lila?" Marin asked, wiping down the counter. "I'm working," I said, though my eyes stayed on him. He hadn't ordered a drink, just sat there, hands folded, like he was waiting for something that hadn't arrived yet. Or someone. I grabbed a glass I didn't need and walked over. "You gonna order or just haunt the furniture?" I asked. He looked up slowly. His eyes were too pale, like storm clouds stretched thin. Not empty, just quiet. "I don't drink what you serve," he said. His voice was soft, but it settled into me like it belonged there. "Then you're in the wrong place." A hint of a smile touched his mouth. "I don't think I am." Something about that should have sent me right back behind the counter. Instead, I leaned closer. "Name?" "Caleb." I nodded. "Lila." "I know." That made me pause. "You do?" "I've been here before." "No, you haven't," I said automatically. I would have remembered. Caleb tilted his head slightly. "Not inside." The air shifted, not colder, not warmer, just different, like the room had taken a breath and forgotten to let it out. "You live around here?" I asked. "Close enough." Marin called my name, sharp and warning. I ignored her. "You're not like the others," Caleb said. "Lucky me." "I mean it." His gaze held mine, steady and unblinking. Most men looked away first. He didn't, and I didn't want him to. "Then what am I like?" I asked. "Listening," he said. That should have been nothing, just a word. But it felt like he'd reached inside my chest and named something I didn't tell anyone. He came back the next night, and the next. Always the same seat, always watching, never drinking. People started to notice then, not him, but me. The way I drifted toward that end of the bar, the way I smiled without meaning to. "You don't even know him," Marin muttered one evening. "I know enough." "You don't know anything," she shot back. "And he ain't right." I didn't answer, because I knew she was right, but wrong too. "Walk with me," Caleb said one night after closing. The streets of Hollow Creek emptied early. By midnight, it was just shadows and porch lights left burning for no one. We walked past the last house and toward the tree line where the woods pressed close. "You're not scared," he said. "Should I be?" "Yes," I smiled. "You gonna give me a reason?" He stopped walking. "I don't belong here," he said. "Not the way you do." I folded my arms. "That's not an answer." Caleb stepped closer, close enough that I could see how still he was. No restless shifting, no wasted motion. "Feel this," he said, reaching for my wrist. His touch was cool, not lifeless, just wrong for a living man. My pulse jumped under his fingers. He watched it like it fascinated him. "You hear that?" he asked. "My heartbeat?" He nodded. "It's loud." I swallowed. "That's normal. For you." The woods behind him seemed deeper somehow, shadows layered over shadows. "What are you?" I asked quietly. Caleb's gaze lifted to mine. "Hungry." Every instinct told me to step back. I didn't. "Then why haven't you—" I stopped myself. "Taken from you," he finished. I nodded. His hand tightened slightly around my wrist. Not painful, just certain. Because I wanted to ask first. A chill moved through me, slow and deliberate. "That's not how this works," I said. "It is for me." His voice softened. "I don't want to take anything you won't give." That should have made it better. It didn't. It made it worse because now it felt like a choice. "I should go," I said, but I didn't move. Caleb stepped even closer. I could feel the absence of warmth from him, like standing near a shadow that had weight. "If you walk away," he said, "I won't follow." "And if I don't?" His eyes darkened, just slightly. "Then I stay." The night held its breath. I thought about the bar, the noise, the people who saw everything and understood nothing. I thought about the way he listened. "Just once," I whispered. Caleb's expression didn't change, but something in him shifted, like a door opening quietly. "You're sure?" he asked. "No," I said honestly. "Good," he murmured. "That means you understand." His hand slid from my wrist to my cheek, careful, almost reverent. "Stay with me," he said. I should have said no. Instead, I leaned in. His lips brushed my skin first, soft, almost human. Then the sharpness came, a quick sting, then something deeper, pulling, steady, intimate in a way that had nothing to do with kindness. I gasped, my hands gripping his coat. The world tilted, not spinning, just loosening. "Lila," he said softly against my skin. "Look at me." I did. And I wasn't afraid. Not really. because he wasn't taking everything. He was holding something back. For me. When he pulled away, I swayed. Caleb caught me easily, like I weighed nothing. "You're still here," I said, my voice thin. "I told you," he replied. His thumb brushed the mark on my neck, almost tender. "You should hate me." "I don't," I said. "That will change." "Maybe," I whispered, "but not tonight." Caleb studied me for a long moment. Then he smiled, small, real, and just a little dangerous. "Then I'll stay," he said. The woods closed in around us, quiet and endless, and I realized as his hand found mine again that I wasn't thinking about leaving at all. I did not intend to tell this story, yet you insisted on listening. You sit there now, breathing, warm, your pulse marking time in that fragile human way. I remember that rhythm. I remember longing for it, fearing it, hating it, and loving it most of all. His name was Lucien. I met him on a night soaked in rain and lantern light, when the city glowed like something half-remembered. I had lost everything worth keeping. Grief had hollowed me out so completely that I mistook his presence for comfort. He found me before I saw him. "You look as though you are waiting to disappear," he said. I turned, annoyed at first. Then I saw him. He was beautiful in a way that felt deliberate, as if each feature had been chosen rather than born. His eyes held a depth that did not belong to the living. "I've already disappeared," I replied. "Not yet," he said softly, "but you are close." There was no mockery in his voice, only recognition. We walked together without deciding to, through narrow streets, past shuttered windows and silent doorways. I did not ask where we were going. Something in me had grown tired of asking. "Do you fear death?" he asked. "No." "Do you desire it?" I considered that. "I desire an end to what I am." Lucien smiled faintly. "That can be arranged." There should have been alarm. There should have been sense enough to leave him standing there. Instead, I felt curiosity bloom in the hollow space inside me. "And what would I become?" I asked. His gaze lingered on my throat, then returned to my eyes. "Something that does not fade," he said. He brought me to a house that did not seem to belong to the city. It stood apart, as though it had been placed there without permission. Inside, the air felt heavy with memory. "Stay," he said, "just for tonight." I should have refused. Instead, I stayed for far longer. Lucien spoke little of himself at first. He asked about me, about the life I had already begun to forget. I told him everything, my losses, my bitterness, the quiet resentment I held toward the living. He listened as if each word mattered. No one had done that in a very long time. "You are not meant for that world anymore," he said one evening, his voice low as candlelight trembled between us. "And this one?" I asked. He stepped closer. "This one is honest." I laughed softly. "You call this honesty?" "I call it hunger," he said. "And hunger never lies." The first time he touched me, I understood. Not warmth, not comfort. Something deeper. His hand rested against my neck, and I felt my pulse answer him, quickening as though it recognized a master. "You feel it," he murmured. "Yes." It is the last truth you will know as you are now. I should have turned away. Instead, I leaned closer. Will it hurt? I asked. Lucien's expression softened, almost tender. Only for a moment. And after? You will never be alone again. That was the promise that undid me. Not immortality, not power, but the end of loneliness. Then do it, I whispered. There are no words sufficient for that moment. Pain, yes, but fleeting, almost insignificant compared to what followed. A falling away, a widening. The world changed shape around me. Every sound sharpened, every shadow alive with meaning. I felt the fragile thread of my humanity stretch, strain, and break. When I opened my eyes, Lucien was there, watching, waiting. Come back to me, he said. I did. Time lost its structure after that. Nights bled into one another, filled with motion and stillness, with hunger and its satisfaction. Lucien taught me what I had become, guided me with a patience that felt like devotion. He never forced me. That was his cruelty, because every choice became mine. Take only what you need, he told me once, his voice close to my ear as we stood over a sleeping figure. And if I want more? I asked. His smile was slow, knowing. Then you will learn what you are. I did learn, too well. And yet, through it all, there was him. Always him, in the quiet moments before dawn, when the world felt distant and unreal. He would sit beside me, his gaze searching mine as though he feared I might vanish. You regret it, he said once. Sometimes, I admitted. And me? I studied him, this creature who had remade me in his image. I do not regret you. Something flickered in his expression then. Relief, perhaps, or something more dangerous. Good, he said softly, because I cannot regret you at all. You ask if I loved him. I still do. That is the curse hidden within the gift. Not the hunger, not the endless nights, but the love that does not fade, even as everything else becomes distant. Lucien gave me eternity, yes. But more than that, he gave me himself, and in doing so, he ensured that I would never be free of him. Even now, as I speak to you, I feel him, close, watching, waiting, as he always has. So tell me, when you leave this place, when your pulse carries you back into that brief, fleeting life, will you remember me? Or will you pretend this was only a story? Because I promise you this, he is still out there, and he is always listening, just as you did.